How did you get into all this?
Well, so it was back in, when was it, beginning of 2018. And I'd hit burnout. I had a massive breakdown myself because I I had this lifestyle where it was years and years and years of eat, sleep, work, repeat, eat, sleep, work, repeat, and I was exhausted. I was really physically exhausted, even though the work was never sort of physically demanding. But the stress, you can feel stress in your body and it ages you and it just makes you feel tense all the time.
Mm.
And so I had always kind of had a bit of an issue with stress, sort of since university and things like that. And so that was a thing. So stress and anxiety, that happened every once in a while. And so that didn't help at the point where I felt like I was in this real rut of doing, a job where the people that I worked with were great. The companies were great, but it wasn't work that I loved at all.
Right.
And I always felt like I should be doing something else, but I just didn't really know what it was. And so there was all of this sorts of stuff going on. And then eventually I realized that I didn't really like myself. I didn't actually really know myself. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to, like, who I wanted to be. And so it was just this kind of crisis point. And I had this really horrible breakdown, which took about 3 months to recover from. And it was in that period of time, in that 3 months, where I just felt like I was kind of on my knees, and I thought I need to sort myself out. And I went to the doctors, and the doctors offered me antidepressants, and I thought antidepressants is not what I need. I actually need to change my life, and antidepressants are not going to do that. I need to actually change so many things about my life and so many things about the way that I think and the way that I treat myself too, because I was this like crazy perfectionist, like a proper achiever. And I think that's why so many of the women that I work with are proper achievers. And they have the same sorts of challenges and struggles, that I have had in the past as well, because like attracts like,
Yeah.
and so there was all of this huge pressure that I would put on myself. Nothing was ever good enough. Nothing was ever perfect enough. I was never skinny enough. I was never clever enough. I was never all these sorts of things. And it was a really stressful, taxing way of treating yourself. So all of that kind of came together, and that's when I hit the burnout. So I had a really excellent CBT therapist, who I'm still friends with to this day. He was brilliant and taught me different ways of thinking. And a friend of mine suggested meditation, and I literally rolled my eyes, and I was like, oh God, I need something that works. I don't need to just sit in silence. This is ridiculous. But actually, at the point when you're a bit desperate
Yeah.
and you think, fine, I'll try it.
Yeah. What
And
have you
so
got
I
to lose?
tried it. Yeah, I tried it and really quickly loved it. And I'd kind of dabbled in the past a little bit here and there, but the truth was that I didn't really understand what meditation was. I'd kind of bought all of the myths about you've got to sit, with your legs crossed, and you've got to make your mind go blank, and you have to spend hours for anything good to happen. And I'd believed all of that, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so it was only when I started to try it, and I started to like it, and I started to feel the difference it was making for me. And then I very quickly, probably within about 2 weeks, fell in love with it, because I started to really honestly like feel like I was returning home to myself, and starting to, even though I'd felt so lost about who am I and what am I doing and what is this life I've created, like starting to really see and have that opportunity to go, actually, this is what I want, this isn't what I want, or I want to do something different. And having that opportunity to allow those things to come forward without forcing it or without thinking my way into it, and trying to get the answers right, but just allowing it to come up naturally, just made such a massive difference. And then I very quickly got into, you know, I was studying it. I was studying meditation, about how is it really helping me to feel so much better when I've had so much stress and anxiety and depression. And now I feel like this. And so I learned all about it. And I was a bit annoyed, actually, to find that there's so many studies about how it can really help to heal stress and anxiety and depression. And I was thinking, why at the ripe old age of 40 are we only finding this out now? Am I only finding this out now? More people need to know this. More people need to practice it. And so when I started talking to people, and I started doing some sessions at the company I was working for, and people were enjoying it, but very much they had also bought the myths that I had, which is meditation's a bit woo-woo, or, you know, you don't know if you're doing it right. Like, if you don't make your mind go blank, then it's not working. And so, and actually, they were the things that were getting in the way of people having their own kind of practice that they could integrate into their life, because they were kind of believing the, you know, the sort of stories about it. And so it was at the point where I thought, I'm not a monk, you know, I don't spend hours and hours a day doing meditation. I'm a busy mom, you know, at the time I had a busy job, now I have a busy business, and I've got all of the sort of things that are in a normal life and that a normal, you know, kind of woman has, juggling all the balls and all this sort of thing. And so I've had to get really creative to be able to build this practice into my life. And that's what I really wanted to share with other people, was to say, you don't have to make your mind go blank. You don't have to spend hours. You can get creative, and here's how I do it. But actually, the important thing is that you just try to find the pockets of time where you're building that relationship with yourself, when you're creating some calm among the chaos of your life, and build it into your life and let it be part of your day. Because once people start trying it and they start to feel the benefits for themselves, that's the sort of selling point of meditation. You know, they start to want more of what they're feeling and more of what they get from it.